Warning, this show contains strong language and topics that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello wrestling fans, and welcome to another, well, it's not really another edition of Suplah, it's a breaking news edition. Yes, I'm in my pyjamas. With me as always is Liam Dunn.
Very sad news to wake up to this morning on
Yes.
April the 21st. Very, very sad. WWE legend Chyna has passed away, it seemed last night. We only found out this morning because we're in the UK. So we were asleep when the news really broke. But it's pretty shocking. I was hoping that we were coming out of the era of wrestlers or former wrestlers dying at a young age, and Chyna was only 45. Now, we must stress that because of how early this is, it has only been hours since the news broke. No one knows what the causes are. We don't know. The only thing that we do know was that she was found in bed in her home, and I think, from what the reports were saying, she was pretty much dead when the paramedics showed up. Like, when someone was there, she was already gone.
I mean, I saw something that, like, the police said there was no foul play or anything like that, so...
It's still too early, don't forget.
Yeah.
It took 26 hours for them to figure out what happened with the Benoit cases. I'm not saying that this is similar at all, but what I am saying is that it doesn't matter what it looks like when it shows up. It's not
Because you have to do an autopsy
Exactly.
and all that kind of thing.
Exactly. So
no one knows.
And I think 45 is very, very young. Like Eddie Guerrero, there was no foul play, but it was the past that he went through that caused his untimely death. Again, I'm not saying things are related, but it's very early. We can't really tell what's happened. All we can do is kind of speculate, and kind of just give a small sort of tribute and revision of Chyna's past and her kind of rocky relationship with the WWE.
I mean, it hasn't been the greatest road.
I'm sorry. I've posted on the website. I've literally just posted the news as of this recording. I've just posted the news, and I said that you could argue that Chyna was the original woman who started the Divas Revolution back in the Attitude Era.
She beat the crap out of the men.
Well, that's what I mean. She intimidated everyone, men, women, regardless. She started off as DX's enforcer, as their bodyguard. She was a very unique specimen, and then she left DX and started a comedic tag team with Eddie Guerrero, where he was her mamacita. And
That was good. That was funny.
And Chyna was very much a product of the Attitude Era because her prominence rose pretty much at the start of the Attitude Era, and then she left when the Attitude Era came to a close. So if there's one star, you could say Austin, you could say Rock, you could say Triple H, Undertaker, Kane, whoever. The one real star of the Attitude Era who was there at the start and left when it finished and didn't ever come back was Chyna.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't watch it back then, but Chyna was just like... She was just like, I don't know, one of the... I don't know, I guess a superstar, I guess, at a time when you had, like, Sunny and all the other divas. And she's one of the only women to ever win the Intercontinental title. Like
she's the only woman to win the Intercontinental.
She's the only one. And it's just crazy because even back then, to think it was an era where no one really gave a crap about women's empowerment or anything. You've got this woman that's beating the crap out of the blokes, and not only that, winning all the blokes' titles. In a way, that was kind of revolutionary for its time, and no one really realised it at that point.
There's another one. She was the first woman to ever be in a Royal Rumble. That was before Beth Phoenix. It was before Karma. She was the first one to ever be a woman in the Royal Rumble.
That's crazy. But, yeah, I mean, the WWE's relationship with us kind of gone a bit rocky at best. Because of things that happened backstage with a certain person by the name of Paul, but we may not talk about that. I don't know. It's up to you, Liam.
Well, I think it's no secret. Triple H obviously is married to Stephanie McMahon, daughter of the owner, the creator of the company, essentially. I know his dad technically created it, but Vince McMahon Jr. turned it into what it is today. And Triple H was dating Chyna. Now, obviously, I wasn't there, nor was I a fan at the time, but from what I heard, From what I've researched, he was dating Chyna, and then he got into a storyline with Stephanie McMahon where they got quote unquote married or whatever, and then that actually turned into a real relationship. And Chyna's had a grudge against Stephanie because she felt that Triple H was stolen from her. Stephanie, I think, just didn't like the fact that Triple H's ex was still working at the company. But regardless, she did go out on Twitter. She did tweet her condolences. Whether it's a PR move or a genuine sincerity, that's up to speculation. We don't really know. I think it's a little bit of both. At the end of the day, a death is a death, and it's very sad, especially when it's only at the age of 45. Very, very sad. But you can't help but think that they do this for PR moves. And this is what I mean. I was going to write something on the website, but I didn't really know how to articulate it. But WWE is quite well known for when a wrestler dies, they kind of jump on it. And unless it's like Test, who died of a drug overdose, I believe, like they usually do something about it. And with Chyna, with how prominent and important she was in the Attitude Era, do you think that WWE is now going to acknowledge her regardless of her career choices after wrestling, most notably as a porn actress is really the only way we can put it. She was in porn. WWE is a PG company. Triple H went on the Stone Cold podcast. They spoke about Chyna, and he said, yes, Chyna does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think anybody argues that fact, but you can see Triple H's point of view. At the end of the day, it comes down to a business decision, and I don't think a PG company, a family company, putting in that is now a porn star into their Hall of Fame.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, they've put people in like Mike Tyson, who's been done for
rape allegations, wasn't it? Rape allegations.
Yeah, and he beat. I think it was domestic violence as well. I don't know, but you know, you got him in the Hall of Fame. You got a character called the Godfather, who is literally a pimp, in the Hall of Fame. So these things. I mean,
well, okay. Just to play devil's advocate, the Mike Tyson thing. Mike Tyson was never actually a WWE star, right? I see what you're saying. No, I see what you're saying, but he was never actually a WWE star. He never represented the WWE. Just like how Arnold Schwarzenegger has never represented the WWE. He's just a well-known fan, really. And he went off and shagged his maid, right? But Chyna is an actual WWE star. She got her name, her celebrity status through the WWE. Mike Tyson didn't. Donald Trump certainly didn't. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't. So that's different. The Godfather, I also think, is different because that's a character. He was playing the pimp. He wasn't actually pimping girls out.
No, I know that, but it's a character that's to do with... Anyway, so the point is that you could spin it in a more positive light and just show her kind of wrestling aspects. I mean, I know it's up to them entirely, but I mean, I would stick with the Hall of Fame just because of the accolades that she has, and on that alone. I mean, I don't know if they ever will because of her troubled past and the life choices that she's made when she was alive, but I would probably, there's a plane going by, I'd probably stick her in the Hall of Fame, because you could spin it in a more positive light. And it's the WWE. They can spin things to make things sound better or worse than what they actually were. And Triple H's argument of, oh, if you Google Chyna, it'll come up with porn. I'm sorry, Hunter, but you got your arse out on national television, so what the fuck are you talking about?
That's a fair enough point. So I think we should just wrap this up very quickly. Like we said, it's breaking news. We're kind of just woken up. You can kind of tell with the way.
Yeah, I'm not as lively as I am first thing in the morning.
Yes, but we feel like we had to say something, talk about this topic. So the passing words. It's very, very sad. It's always very sad when a wrestler dies. Chyna has struggled. Most recently, she's been desperate to try and get her foot back in WWE. She had a couple of stints in the independent circuit. She had a stint in TNA. Yep. Yeah. But she always wanted to go back to the WWE. Even though Triple H said that there's no beef on their part, they've never seemed interested. There was also, don't forget, WWE 13, the video game that came out a couple of years ago, that infamously didn't put Chyna in, even though they had a whole chapter in the main story of the game about DX. She was just missing. So there was clearly something there, but WWE sees. I think they see death almost. I can't speak for a company, and I don't want anyone to call me up on this, but they almost seem to see death as a different thing, and it kind of. I don't know. Am I making sense?
Well, like a clean slate type of thing.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was kind of the same with Randy Savage. I know that they started mending things before he died, but
It's the same with Warrior. I mean, they didn't like Warrior until they stuck him in the Hall of Fame, and then he died the next night.
well, I mean, it's slightly different, but I think I'm sticking with what I say. I think they see death as a very different thing, and I mean, I would expect some sort of mention of her on Raw. I think it would be very sad, very petty if they didn't, regardless of what she has done as a career. I think that she did make her name in the WWE. She did help the WWE in the Attitude Era. And it's only fair that they just at least recognise her, even if it's just a 5-second, one of those black screens with her picture and the date of her, the year she was born to the year she died. Even if it was just that, just something. Otherwise, I think that'd be very petty. But I'm pretty sure they will.
I hope they will, but you don't know.
You never know.
With these people.
No, you never know. Anyway,
No.
Thank you very much for joining us on this another breaking edition of the Suplah.
Are we going to call this Breaking Suplah?
No, that's the worst name in the world for it.
Well, I just woke up, and I have been Andy Quad,
And I have been Liam Dunn.
and I might go back to bed. Goodbye.